Hi, everybody. It's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. So, I've had quite a few letters and emails in the past couple of weeks that are similar to ones I've received in the past from people who feel extremely discouraged about food and eating, and like even when they're tracking what they do and simply beginning to be aware and learn about their own behavior, have a little more compassion, not decide to crack down and put themselves in prison with some sort of weird and super undernourishing diet, but people who are trying to find balance in a middle way, that something happens and they give up and they stop. So maybe you're having this experience too. Everyone's had it at some point. I sure have. The way the pace of life just moods and changes and things come and go, and something triggers you and you're stimulated with cravings, you feel like eating, but beginning to learn, as I talk about so much, what it is that's actually inviting you to, I guess, be known, to expose, to bring to balance. There's something that's eating you. You know that old saying, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you. There's deep truth to that. And I have shared that three huge areas of anxiety and difficulty when it comes to food and eating, or that trigger food and eating troubles, are powerlessness, a sense of emptiness, or general fear. But you do then need to see what it is you're scared of. Do you have some sort of trauma in your background? Is there something that people are doing out in the world that makes you freeze with an idea that you may be rejected? Are you holding yourself tight with walls around yourself to keep yourself from being known, to make sure that you're safe, like almost overly safe? Just watching and seeing what it is that you're doing, learning about yourself, studying yourself from this observer mode that is very, very serene and compassionate, and watching without that terrible condemnation that so many of us experience when we have trouble with food and eating. So I want to mention a little more about that condemnation today. Serious, deep criticism, right? I talk about sometimes the radio channel called KFCK, and it is not friendly. It is as mean as can be. And there is at some point when you have to be willing to give up listening to that channel, to notice that it's running, and it's running off at the mouth, and it's something that's going on in your head. Why did you do that again? Why are you wanting to eat that? What's wrong with you? What's your problem? It's very mean and nasty and bitchy. And the thing is, you can hear it chattering away, and there is a place where you can begin to let it be there and not believe that it's true. But there maybe is some part of you on the inside that has to decide you're not going to listen. So that's what I'm calling and inviting you to do today. So I've heard from people who feel very discouraged. They get started, they're writing in their journal, they see some of their own triggers. Maybe it's empty time at the end of the day when you finally have blank space in your life and in your calendar, and you're away from the job, and you're away from coworkers and your boss, out of the viewpoint of your family, and you think, oh my God, this is fantastic. And then right away after that, you begin to think, I think I'll eat something. It's hard to stay steady and silent with yourself. You haven't really been your own best friend so well. And maybe you've started writing in your journal, and then you give up writing in your journal, and you think, what's the point? If that's what's happening for you, and you remain discouraged, and you aren't really, really engaged, or don't decide to accept the invitation to the party of you, if you don't decide to accept that invitation and begin to learn deeply about yourself, I don't care what kind of support you need. Maybe it's from human beings, more in physical contact. You need to be in a group with people where you go show up live and in person, with a therapist or someone who leads a support group, or some way that you can express emotionally and learn from other people and have them get to know you. If you need to do that, then great, do it. Take a step. Move in a direction towards self-care and love. I want to share with you a very powerful statement from Janine Roth in her book, Women, Food, and God. And I would say Janine and I've learned so much from her over the years. We have a very similar path of recovery and ending this dilemma with food and eating. Both of us know and believe that you can be completely done with it by looking and becoming aware and filled with love for yourself. Really, it's that simple. And it's not simple. It's not easy. There's all these little dark corners and nooks and crannies that need to be exposed and understood. But I want to share with you something that Janine Roth writes. If you've been struggling, and this may be something that you need to really deeply consider. So she's speaking to people about this same voice, the very, very self-condemning voice. And she offers this question: what stirs your heart? I often tell people in my retreats that unless there is a resounding yes when they hear me speak, unless they long for the kind of engagement in their own process that I describe, they need to find another way of cracking the code of their relationship with food so that they are no longer standing outside themselves trying desperately to get in. Listening to and engaging in the antics of the voice, and we're talking about that really mean, critical, self-hating voice. Listening to and engaging in the antics of the voice keeps you outside of yourself. It keeps you bound. It keeps you ashamed, anxious, and panicked. No real or long-lasting change will occur as long as you are kneeling at the altar of the voice. I'm going to read that again. No real or long-lasting change will occur as long as you are kneeling at the altar of that voice. Do you understand? So today, if you have felt deep discouragement, and if you've watched some of my other videos and you're gathering tips and ideas and insight into that this is a process of the human psyche and consciousness that can be brought to peace. You can find it. It's possible. If it's possible for me, it's possible for anyone. I had horrible issues with food and eating, and they have been gone now for many years at many levels. So can you commit to loving yourself and stopping kneeling at the altar of that voice that really, I suppose, does not care about your success, does not want it, and is a voice of hate? Love is louder than that voice in the end. I mean, it's going to win overall, even if it's because you died. But there is a peace that's beyond all understanding that can enter you. It's possible for you. And I think just beginning to believe that it is possible for you is a huge starting point, maybe bigger than you ever imagined. So that's what I want you all to consider today. If you're one of the people who's been extremely discouraged and thinking, I can't do this, this isn't for me, I just want to take a pill, or I just need to find the right diet, or I need to get the right program. Nothing wrong with programs and finding a right diet, not at all. But if you are ready to explore self-love, that is the ultimate center of peace that lives really within all of us, even if you don't believe it's true, that will heal everything. Learning of who you are and being who you are is your answer.